Assume that there is a 12% rate of disk drive failure in a year. In part A, if all your computer data is stored on a hard disk drive with a copy stored on a second hard disk drive, what is the probability that during a year you can avoid catastrophe with at least one working drive? Now, use the rule of complements shown below to find the probability that you can avoid catastrophe where the complement of A is, well, the symbol here is the complement of A. So we're going to let A equal at least one hard drive work correctly. So here is the probability. So the probability that at least one hard drive works correctly is equal to 1 minus the complement of A, meaning that no drives work correctly. So first we want to identify the event that is the complement of A. The complement of A is equal to that both hard drives fail. Since the two hard drives operate separately, their failures are independent events. So we're going to use the multiplication rule for independent events to find the probability of the complement of event A. So that represents the complement of event A. Now, the multiplication rule for independent events states that the probability of two independent events occurring is the product of their individual probabilities. Now, we know that the probability of any one of the hard drives failing to work correctly is 0.12 because at the very beginning it's 12%. So as a decimal, it's 0.12. So the probability of the complement of A is equal to the probability that hard drive 1 fails and hard drive 2 fails. So we have 0.12 times 0.12, which is the same thing as 0.12 to the second power, which gives us 0.0144. Now we want to find the probability of A by evaluating 1 minus the probability of the complement of A, which we found in this previous part. So using that formula, we're going to take 1 and then subtract the probability that we found, which is 0.0144, and we get 0.9856. Therefore, the probability that at least one of the two hard drives works correctly is 0.9856. Okay, part B. It says, if copies of your computer data are stored on 3 independent hard disk drives, what is the probability that during a year you can avoid catastrophe with at least one working drive? So again, we're going to let A equal at least one hard drive works correctly. We're going to use the same method as in part A and then find the probability of a complement event A. So remember that we have 3 now independent. So the probability of the complement of A is equal to the probability of hard drive 1 fails and hard drive 2 fails and hard drive 3 fails. So we're going to take 0.12 times 0.12 times 0.12, which is another way of saying 0.1 to the third power, which gives us 0.001728. And therefore, we're going to find now the probability of event A by calculating or evaluating 1 minus the probability of the complement of A. So using that formula, we're going to take 1 and subtract that probability that we found here, which is 0.001728, and we get 0.998272. And so therefore, we would say the following, that the probability that at least one hard drive out of 3 works is 0.998272.